Hello, Dr. Steve Chung. I'm the CEO and founder of Healthereum. Thank you for joining me today to share with you our blockchain-based health tech company and what we're trying to accomplish. And I hope that by the end of this webinar that you will be able to have a good understanding of what we're trying to do for the healthcare industry. So basically a little bit about myself. Again, I am a practicing urologic surgeon for about 14 years in the greater Chicago area. And I have a very busy practice going to a number of hospitals, actually 7 of them. And during the 14 years, I have experienced firsthand the inefficiencies and problems that is endemic of all the hospitals and that all doctors experience. I'd like to preface by saying when I say doctor, I also want to include, it basically includes every healthcare provider, dentist, chiropractor, physician extenders such as nurse practitioners and physician's assistants. So if I use the term doctor, basically I'm including all of them. So as in this practice for 14 years, I've experienced firsthand a lot of the problems that a lot of my colleagues, including myself, in hospitals experience with the inefficiencies of healthcare delivery, patient interaction, and dealings with insurance companies. So with that, I've tried to figure out solutions. And actually, there are many solutions out there in the form of software platforms and so forth. But as we can see as doctors, these problems still exist. So obviously, there are valiant attempts at solving these issues, but I guess it's just not working. And so we believe, me and my co-founder, believe that we have found actually a solution that may actually work. And so I would like to share that with you. So Healthereum started about 1.5 years ago. And so I met my co-founder because we're both interested in blockchain and very passionate about the new technology. He used to work at SAP and he was a product developer. And we put our heads together and we found that we can maybe create something very beneficial for patients, not just in the US, but possibly for patients globally. So we came up with our company. So Healthereum is actually health and the word Ethereum. And Ethereum is a blockchain platform that uses smart contracts. And we thought that that would be a nice name because that's kind of what we're doing, is using smart contracts in the healthcare industry. So I would like to go over briefly our pitch deck with everybody. And so I'm going to share with you. Okay. So Healthereum is a decentralized platform to incentivize personal accountability of health. Basically, I want to reward my good patients. And for those patients who need an extra hand-holding, I want to help them too, because we all want to achieve the same goal. For patients, it's good health, and for doctors, it's a streamlined process to deliver quality care. So Healthereum is basically empowering the patients and providers with a global blockchain healthcare rewards platform. So think of the airline industry and the hotel industry having rewards programs. Healthcare doesn't really have that. And we believe that with blockchain now, we're actually able to create a rewards platform to reward the patients. Reward them at micro levels for little things that they do that the doctor may ask them. Because if they do accomplish these things, it just betters the patient overall with good health. And so the reward is in the formation of what we call a utility token. It's called Health, H-E-A-L-T-H. And not only is it the utility reward token, but actually it's the glue that ties in all the applications on our Healthereum platform or Healthereum ecosystem. So the utility token is used as a reward, but it also solves some of the critical cost verticals faced by all doctors and hospitals. So, in a nutshell, what is it doing? Well, when I ask patients to do certain things, they get rewarded these utility tokens. So, it starts with the attendance to an appointment. You may think, well, that's, they all should, show up to their visit. Well, actually, in healthcare, there's about a 20% no-show rate. And no-show, I mean, they ghost their appointment. They don't call to cancel or reschedule. And so these no-shows actually affect the clinic, and it affects the patients who no-showed. And so just showing up, I want to reward them. And I'll explain kind of how that's done. So these tokens are given to patients for showing up to their visit, for doing certain tasks such as filling out a questionnaire, for engaging with messages that I may send, and as we go along, you'll understand kind of how all of that fits in with the reward token. So the token, if we reward patients with the token, what does it address in terms of the operations of the hospital or doctor? Well, so doctors in hospitals have several obstacles that they must encounter with on a daily basis. So these are in the form of government regulations. These are in the form of patients who no-show. These are denial of insurance claims, dealing with poor satisfaction surveys because the response rate's not very high, reputation scores of hospitals and doctors that are not really verified by real patients. Right now, all that exists is going online, entering your email, confirming it, and claiming you saw Dr. X. And there's no verification that the person filling it out even saw Dr. X. It could be anyone. It could be a competitor down the street. And so these obstacles are things that are rampant, not being addressed, or at least solutions that aren't working. And another obstacle is there's a complete lack of patient messaging or engagement after a visit. There are more engagement emails or texts from the last hotel you stayed or last flight you took. Doesn't exist in healthcare. Basically, after I see a patient, I am so busy, my staff is so busy that we don't communicate with them until their next follow-up, and they could be in 6 months or a year. Obviously, patients who have some ailment or some problem will call the office, and my nurses will contact them. Also, we're dealing with a new set of clinic patients for that day or surgeries for that day. So there's very little time to engage with patients after a visit who are doing okay, I assume. And that's no problem. I just have to assume that they're doing okay because we can't interact with them. There's no good platform to allow that to happen. And if there is a platform, it consumes a significant amount of time and resource that me and my staff don't have. So these are the obstacles that not just myself, but every doctor faces, not just in the US, but globally. More specifically, I'd like to share with you 4 problems that stare me in the face every day. So I just mentioned the no-show rate. There's a 20% no-show rate. These are, again, patients who go to appointments. That's $150 billion lost annually in the U.S. There's a poor survey response. Now, you guys may not realize, but healthcare surveys are actually very important because they're tied to reimbursements, and big decisions are made on these survey results. Well, when only 30% of patients are responding, I believe it's not a true representative data of how patients feel about their service. Typically, the very happy or the very unhappy people submit surveys. And we have to use that 30% response rate to make decisions in care delivery and potentially suffer from lower reimbursement rates because the survey response rate and the surveys themselves responses are not adequate. So this is a true problem that every provider faces. Lack of patient engagement. I mentioned earlier, there's just no time to communicate with them. So what can happen? You know, patients may no longer adhere to a treatment plan. They may, not even follow up because they just decided, they have other more important things to worry about. It leads to downstream ill health. So if there was better patient engagement, the assumption is that the patients would be healthier. But presently, that's just very difficult to accomplish. And lastly, a claims denial. So every time I see a patient, I file an insurance claim to Medicare or government agencies or commercial insurance companies. I believe that due to curtailing fraud and for commercial insurance companies who are for-profit to save their bottom line, they sometimes just deny claims. And it's the claims, the delayed and fraudulent claims cost $400 billion annually. And these affect the good doctors, and these affect the good hospitals. Services are rendered and they're not getting paid. And so we've got to come up with a solution to these four issues. More specifically, this is just a snapshot of a couple of cutouts. No-shows cost healthcare system billions of dollars in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Healthcare providers need to be involved in developing a better patient engagement design. In the New York Times, Medicare Advantage caught denying claims for no reason. Patient satisfaction survey data is undermined by low response rates. Denied claims costing billions and billions of dollars for hospitals and honest providers. And at a more of a micro level, for every no-show, it actually costs a doctor's practice $125 to get that patient back to the office. This is not even including the reimbursement loss. We're talking about the time and cost it takes for my staff and or myself to get that patient back. So you may say, well, if the patient no-shows, just let it be. Well, I wish it was that easy, but in healthcare, we have to make the honest effort to get the patient back, via phone call, and then a letter, and then a certified letter. You want to get that patient back because maybe they have cancer that's being followed, and for some reason they no-show. So it costs, to do all that, it's $125 per no-show. Poor response rate on surveys. I think I had mentioned earlier that the survey results affect the hospital and doctors tremendously. This is not the same kind of surveys you get from going to Subway or Walmart. This is tied to real money and decision making for patients and hospitals. And a poor survey response rate doesn't give a true indication of what needs to be changed. And also, in my opinion, I don't think it's fair to tie reimbursement to surveys, but that's the world we live in. claim denial at a micro level. Every claim that's denied, it costs me or a physician $119 in terms of using his staff and resources to refile and in the hope of getting reimbursed. So that's extra cost. And then lastly, the lack of patient messaging between visits. It impacts patient health in the sense of compliance to their treatment. And so that's a downstream effect, which leads to more healthcare spending. So Healthereum is here. Remember, we're a reward platform. We are here to facilitate or address those 4 issues. So number 1, Meduso. Meduso is a reward application by which every encounter is a smart contract. Every encounter or visit, I have put in X number of those utility tokens into the escrow account of that smart contract appointment. The patient on their mobile app, and I'll show that to you in a little bit, is able to promise to show, and if they promise, they're essentially putting the same number of tokens into the escrow account as well. It's been gamified, meaning patient promises show, and if they do, they get a reward token, the tokens that I put in. But if they no show, I get their tokens. And I'll explain to you how the economics ties in very nicely. Survey. We're able to deploy, after the visit, we're now able to deploy a survey to their mobile device. And when they complete it, they get the same utility reward token. After the visit, they're able to confirm an insurance claim, meaning the patient is able to confirm that, yes, these services really happened, and yes, I agree. And then that double verified, meaning one from the doctor and one from the patient, that double verified claim is now filed to the insurance company. And that helps curtail fraud. It helps protect the insurance company. And then lastly, we found the way now to engage with the patient in between visits. And when the patient interacts with it, they get a reward token. So when the patient attends the appointment, reward token. Do the survey, reward token. Verify a claim, reward token. When they engage with the messages that doctor sends, reward token. They are getting rewarded for being a good patient. And so how does it work? So when the patient shows up for their appointment and they get token reward, and they do the survey and they get a token reward, and they do the they respond to the messages saying got it or okay and get the token reward, and they do the insurance claim, verify, and they get the token reward. It changes their behavior. That's what we hope, is that the secret sauce in the solution is you got to change the patient behavior. You have to reward them. Yes, there's a delayed gratification, delayed reward, which is good health, but we live in a world now where we want instant reward. So now we're offering that using blockchain technology. So what do the patients do with the reward? Good question. Well, the doctors and hospitals who are on board have a finite supply of tokens, depending on how busy their practice is. Their supply is going to go down because they're making appointments with all their patients. They're giving out reward tokens and so forth. They can't go and buy more tokens. It's not going to be on an exchange. This is a utility token. Who are they going to get it from? They got to get it back from the patient. So a good patient amasses all of these reward tokens. So the patient shows up to the office, and with the doctor, he sees that he's getting low on supply, but more importantly, he's seeing that these tokens are changing his behavior. He's being accountable for his health. And when I say he, I mean he and she, he or she. he then accepts the tokens from the patient. The doctor or hospital determines the real value of the utility token. I'll give you some examples. A doctor will say, for 50 health tokens, I'll give you a gift certificate to something. A hospital may say, I'll give you a free parking pass. Hospitals may say you can use those tokens at the gift shop to buy things with the token. So we have created a tokenized healthcare economy using our utility token. And then when the doctor accepts the tokens, the supply goes up, the patients say, hey, it's worth it to get these reward tokens, so they continue their good behavior or their accountable behavior for their health. And more importantly, maybe patients who need extra hand-holding, they realize, it's worth it to, do these because I get a benefit, some kind of health benefit. And so the key is to change their behavior. So it truly is a eco-economy, a tokenized economy. The providers deliver the health tokens to the patients who demonstrate accountability for their health and when they complete requested tasks. And then the patients give the tokens back for value because they have to be rewarded for what they're doing. And giving it back, again, resupplies the initial token supply of the doctor or hospital, and it continues the patient's ongoing positive behavior. So that is what Healthereum is doing. We're gonna do both because there are 4 applications, and 2 have actually been completed and are being used by patients. The 3rd one is in alpha, and then 1 is in wireframes that we're starting to develop. So that is Healthereum. But I want to quickly show with you other healthcare blockchain companies. There's Softcare, which deals with insurance, health maintenance, citizen health, and mental health. You've heard of EMR on the blockchain. I personally, I have my opinions about that because presently there are 2 main EMR vendors, Epic and Cerner, which own 50% of market share. And so I think that they're the 800-pound gorilla that will determine how EMR goes. Pharma's on the blockchain, genomics, and there are these other healthcare platforms. But a reward program, we are different. We are rewarding patients, and at the same time, as patients use the reward platform, it helps the doctors and hospitals streamline their processes and improves operational function. So again, Healthereum, we are dealing with appointments and surveys and messaging and insurance verification, all on a reward platform. So what have we developed? We have developed our Healthereum Life portfolio, which is the patient mobile interface where a patient will interact with the application. The Healthereum Life portfolio, again, you can see your appointments. Not only that, when you get your appointments, it actually migrates to your native calendar. You can promise to show the appointment. You complete your surveys and get rewarded. You have patient messaging. A doctor will send messages to you depending on your diagnoses. So he may say, I want to send all my patients with the diagnosis of kidney stones to remind them to drink water, and I'll send it once a week. And only those with kidney stones will get it. And then the patients will, who have kidney stones will see it on their mobile device and say, got it, and cha-ching, a reward token. A doctor maybe wants to send his diabetic patients patient education information. And, he wants to send it maybe once a month, all automated. He can send whatever he wants to whomever, meaning diagnoses, and how often. It's all up to the doctor, and it's automated. And then Also on the Healthereum Life portfolio, they'll get their insurance claim. Basically, it's called a super bill. And on this slide, I actually show you the super bill, which is the insurance information, the diagnosis, and what level of care that they're going to file your insurance company. And the patient can either confirm or dispute. And so the patient has a good understanding of what's going to be filed. And when the insurance companies receive it, they know that it's from a real patient, it was a real service rendered, and it's not a fraudulent claim. So this will help or protect insurance companies from potential fraud. So this is the patient side. Well, real quick, this is kind of the timeline for our market launch. So for Medusa, which is our reward, and for Pulse, that's our survey, they've been created and delivered. Patients are using it, and both of those are in the App Store, both Google and Apple. Currently, we decided to keep it under the beta section because we want to continue to make improvements. Patient engagement, that's in alpha. We are able to send messages to patients or to a recipient. And eventually, we will tie this into the verify, where their diagnoses will exist. So we just started verify again, and the HPED or the engagement is in alpha. So these are the patient side. So for the doctor side, they have the Healthereum Life Portfolio Syndicate, and this is right now it's a web application, but eventually it'll be tied into the doctor's EMR. So when the staff creates an appointment, cancels, reschedules, no-shows, automatic. Token transfer, automatic. But on this web application, they'll be able to see the data analytics, meaning how many have no-showed, how many canceled, how many rescheduled. They'll be able to change the survey questions. Remember the surveys that are sent out? Actually, the doctor will be able to create any question he wants. He will be able to see the response rate. He will be able to see his total number of tokens he has. He'll be able to create messages to send to patients and the frequency of delivery. And so the Helio S is created, and it's fully functioning, and people can actually, if you want a demo, you can go to healthereum.network or come to healthereum.com and request the demo, and we can show you. And again, this is being used in my practice for my patients. So all of this is accomplished by a great team. And so again, I am the CEO and founder. My co-founder is Prasad Kothapalli. He's our Chief Technology Officer. We have a great development team, and all of this has been built in-house and being built in-house. So Chase Ripplinger is our full-stack developer. RJ is our blockchain expert. Lee Holmes is our user interface, user experience expert. And Evoke Technologies, we have full-time coders from Evoke. Mike Franks helps us with product strategy. He's also a urologic surgeon in Virginia. And then Frank Cohn helps us with the marketing and engagement strategy. I guess Mike Franks and Frank are part-time. Frank actually works at Allscripts, and so he is right there in the patient engagement platforms. So it's just been a fantastic team, and we've been working together for over a year with many hours in developing the product. So where are we now? So again, Medusa and Pulse, they're on the Android and iPhone stores to download as a beta. The Healthereum Life Portfolio Syndicate is again at healthereum.network. Healthereum has met 12 hospitals, C-levels, showed our product because they were actually interested in what we had. And we want to fine-tune our product to then deliver it to them, and they're very excited about it. I have started it in my practice with patients, and it's been a fantastic experience. Some glitches because we want to get rid of some of the bugs, and that's the purpose. They understand that testing the beta essentially. And so patients are very happy with being able to see their appointments. They're very happy getting rewarded. And so, and then what's another great thing is I think what we're able to do is even for my no-shows, I'm able to send them a survey and ask them basically, you know, what can we do to better accommodate their needs so that they do show up for their next appointment. And so this is just, you know, we believe that this is really going to change or that last piece of the puzzle which is a patient accountability, and allows the doctor and the patient to work together. So what's our next step? Well, we are in the process of onboarding a dental practice, and soon, I mean, get the early adopters. That's where we want to go. So presently we're doing a crowdfunding. It's a security token offering. Our security token is different from our utility token. Our security token is HLTH. One security token represents 1 unit share ownership of the company with the rights to distributions. It's for U.S. and foreign investors, for accredited and non-accredited. So what does a security token allow? It's a 12-month lockup. But after 12 months, our hopes is to be on a security token exchange by which those individuals who own it may actually exit if they wish, or they can hold on to it for, you know, to be a part of the growth of the company. After the Reg CF, there's also talks of a Reg D and a Reg A and so forth. So I just want to say thank you very much for allowing me to share with you our goal and what we want to accomplish. There's been a tremendous amount of work. We've been pretty quiet during this time of development. We started our crowdfunding maybe a month and a half ago, and we just now started to really get out to social media and to share with people what we're doing. One of the most common things I hear is, wow, you know, I didn't even hear about you guys, and you guys have this. I guess most companies would tell them what they're gonna make to raise money, and then they raise money, and then they make the product, or actually we're doing it the opposite way, which is have the product, get the customers, and now we're offering our crowdfunding. And the minimum investment is $100, and we hope you come on board and enjoy the ride with us. Thank you very much.